Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Rascal and I hope you're having a fantastic day today. In today's video, I thought I'd spice up again with another tier list, but this time rating all the attackers' guns, and you know I'm going to make this one spicy. Let's get right into it. I'm going to do these guns in order, from the T95 all the way down to ARX, so you can follow along on screen. Starting off with Ying's gun, I'm going to put it in A, and you might be wondering why you put it in A. I'm going to basically not put the gun with the operators, if that makes sense, so it's not based on which operator it's on, so we kind of forget it's Ying. We're just talking about the gun statistically, how many bullets with the recoil, what kind of attachments do you have, what sights, blah blah blah. And this one for me has to go in A because of the magazine size. It has a little recoil. Every time I've used this gun, it felt like it doesn't move whatsoever. Yeah, I don't really know. LMGs are so strong. Recording this at the early 2022 of Rainbow Six Siege's era. LMGs right now at the peak I think they've ever been. They do all need a nerf in my opinion, so I think it's fair in A. It could even maybe go in S, but I'm going to stick it in A for now. Moving on to the F90. The F90 is Gridlock's gun, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to stick this one in B. I don't use this gun very often, so I can't really give my full opinion on it, but from when I have played it, and I've seen other people play it, I think it has an ACOG, I'm not quite sure on it. Doesn't really move that much, has 30 odd bullets, so it's quite good. I think it's all around B tier gun. Doesn't really have what the LMGs have at the moment, or what the LA kind of has at the moment in terms of like damage plus fire rate. I think B is probably a fair tier for it to belong in. Alright, I'm going to put these guns in together because I know a lot of people are going to be down in the comments right now calling me everything under the sun right now. I'm actually going to put the AR-33 and the 5.56 in B tier. I don't like the 5.56 that much at all, so I would actually want to put it in C tier myself, but I think a lot of people do like it, and statistically speaking these two guns are very similar in my opinion from using them. I think they're both fair in B. They both got nice magazine size, they both have good damage to fire rate. They've both got fantastic sights. The more I say this out loud, the more it feels like they should be an A, but I'm going to fight for them in B. I'd love to know what you guys think about these guns. I'm not quite sure exactly. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to put these in B, but I think I am for now. Yeah, they kind of have to go in there. I think what's going to end up happening here is that all my favourite guns are going to go in S, and everyone's favourite guns aren't going to go in S. The 417 is the first DMR. It's used by Twitch, Lion, all those kind of operators. This one's a tricky one. I kind of want to put it in B. The only reason I'm going to put it in C is because I feel like these guns don't really have a place in Siege right now. They do have their moments of usefulness. They have insane damage. I think it's 2 body shots to kill with these guns. However, the fire rate's so slow. Big magazines or guns with a high fire rate will normally take priority over guns that have slow fire rate and a small magazine. That's just kind of how the meta is at the moment. I don't think this gun is bad at all. I just think with the kind of balancing the guns have at the moment, I just can't justify it being in B. Well, it could actually be in B. I can't justify it being in A, that's for sure. So I'm going to stick it in C for now because I feel like the B tier is going to be incredibly long if it doesn't go in B. The G36C will go in A for me. I think it's a fantastic gun. It has on Ash. On Ash, it has a 1.5, I think. It feels incredibly clean to use a lot of the time. Yana has it as well. But I do prefer the ARX personally. Has a great magazine size. I feel like this gun is always on characters that have good other guns as well, and arguably better guns. So I feel like I haven't been able to use it fully. I really hope an operator in the future comes out with the G36C as its main gun, because every time I use this gun, it feels incredibly clean and incredibly crispy. And I would almost put it in S tier, but it kind of just lacks that damage for me. I think it's 3 to 4 bullets. I think it's 4 bullets to kill if you don't get that headshot. So that's quite a lot compared to some other guns. Just doesn't have that snappy fire rate that some of the other higher guns have. So I think A is quite a fair tier to put it in, especially when it's got the 1.5. This one's going to surprise a lot of people. I'm actually going to put the FMG9 into A. It's on knock, and amount of times I've used knock 1.5, even used for silence from this. I feel like you can use any attachment with the FMG9. It just doesn't move. I just did a little bit of research on the FMG9 because I wasn't quite sure about it. It has 30 bullets in the magazine. I think it's 31 with that extra bullet. It also does 34 to the chest, which means it's a 3-shot kill, which I actually was surprised with. I think that's why I find it so clean. That gun does absolutely have... The gun actually has an incredible fire rate as well. So I just think every time I use it, I'm so surprised it doesn't get used more. I feel like it kind of makes me consider not using the shotgun on mute sometimes, but I feel like it'd be criminal. So I'm going to stick it in A. Now moving on to Blackbeard's MK17. This might be the first gun I put in D. I don't like it, honestly. Even when Blackbeard was strong, when he had his shields and everyone was using it, I still don't find the gun enjoyable or snappy or feels good in my hands. For me, it's because I don't like Blackbeard at all. I think a lot of people do, but I don't like the gun. It's slow, it feels clunky. I used to have good sights, now it's like an AK. Now it's got OK sights. I genuinely would use the DM. I think I use the DMR over the MK17 on Blackbeard when I use it because I just don't like it that much. I'd like to know what you guys think. So I'm sticking with that. with a D tier. I just don't rate it. I'm literally have no reason to put it in C or B. The Cameras for me is another gun that is going to go in D, unfortunately. I pulled Black Ice on it on my alt account and I started using it for a few games. I just don't like it. It has incredible sights. I think it has I can't remember what it's called. I think it has like higher than the 3x. Is that possible? It has cool ass sights. It's worth giving it a go if you guys haven't tried it. I just, when the buck has the C8, for example, I don't get why you'd use the Cameras, if that makes sense. It's high, it has high damage, low magazine. I just don't rate it whatsoever. I just can't. The single fire guns or slow single fire guns in Siege just won't make it past the C tier for me today in this video. These are the guns I have to go on the bottom to allow the other guns to go on top. For every top there has to be bottom, am I right? Coming over to my favourite gun, we all knew, if you know me, we all know where this gun's going to go before the video even started. The F2 is an S tier gun, arguably the best gun on attack before LMGs became LMGs. For me, the F2 goated gun, I've been using it my whole life. It's one of my favourite guns in Siege. I've been playing for over 3 years. I've always loved it. I've always used it. Right now, it feels like an absolute laser beam. If you guys can just control that kick a little bit, goat gun, don't need to talk about it anymore. I could talk about it all day. S tier every day. The AUG is going to go into B. You use it on IQ, but you never use it on IQ. I don't see anyone using it. I genuinely think I'm going to change my mind right now because I just said that. It's going to go in C. No one uses it on attack, which means it can't be a B tier gun. You got the Commando and the G8, which are both better guns than the AUG on attack. It feels good on 1Y, but it doesn't feel good on IQ, so I'm going to have to put it in C. I'm not quite sure what my reasoning is there, but that is my reasoning. I think that's fair enough, right? And no one uses it. You don't ever see it get used, so surely it can't be that good. But I'm actually just waffling right now because I'm not quite sure, but I am going to stick with that. Because I've got the LMGE next, which is Sophia's LMG, which is probably, in my opinion, what started the bustedness of the LMG meta, because I started using this as a joke. I find it insane how a gun with that many bullets had no recoil. Like, what is a gun like that doing with no recoil? Like, you can basically pre-fire someone for about 3 minutes and you have no recoil. Like, how does that even make sense? Yeah, this gun needs a major nerf. It needs a major recoil kick, or it needs a lot less bullets. I don't think anyone in the comments down below can tell me that the LMGs that I'm going to put in S tier can't go in S tier because they've got insane damage, no recoil, a lot of bullets, well, too many bullets. They're basically all just better ARs at the moment. The only thing that they don't have is the fire rates, but in Siege you can just pre-fire, especially when you've got 150 bullets and no recoil. So moving on to the SR25 used by Blackbeard, and I think Flores has it. Yeah, I've never used it on Flores. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to put it in C tier. I don't think it's quite a D tier worthy because I have used it a few times online and it does pack a punch when you use it correctly. But again, these guns are never going to go above B. I'm not going to waste your time on this. It's just not a great gun. It's not used that often. Just a bit of a waste of time. MK14, actually going to put this on B. Used with Dokubi. I'm not sure if it has the muzzle on Dokubi, but it does now on a Rooney, and it feels a lot cleaner when you use it. Packs a punch, I think it's 2 body shots to kill. With Dokubi's combination of being able to hear, I know we're not supposed to use, I know I said I wasn't going to use character plus gun combinations, but when she calls her phone, you kind of get a better sense of where they are, and you can kind of get that first bullet off better. It is quite a good, it is going to go low B tier. It's not as good as the other guns on the B tier, but it's not quite a C tier because I think it's a better gun than the guns on C, but only just into B tier. It could probably go into C, but I'm going to stick it there. The R15 from Maverick is going to go into C tier. I've used it a few times, don't like it. I've seen people use it and people only use it to troll or like do something clips with it or cool things. It just isn't that good. It packs a punch again, but its fire rate's slow. The recoil kicks, it just isn't where it needs to be. If you want to use this gun, it just isn't meta. It isn't viable. I don't like to say that, but it just isn't. Now we're coming over to the interesting guns. I must say there's a lot of interesting guns on this row. I'm going to start with the Type 89 from Habana. This gun's going to go straight into A tier. You might be wondering, how is this not made S tier? The only reason this gun isn't S tier, and I think you guys must agree with me, is the magazine size. I don't think a gun with 21 bullets can make it into S tier unless it literally is a laser and the fire rate's through the roof, which the Type 89 isn't. It's a fantastic gun, and I do love it, but it just isn't S tier material for me. When we talk about the guns that are going to be in S tier, which means it's the best of the best, the Type 89 just isn't there. If it had 30, 28, 29, that kind of range of bullets, it definitely would be an S tier right now on my list, but it's got to go in high A. Fantastic gun, just not S tier. The G8 is on IQ and Amaru. This gun, yeah, I am sorry again. It's the LMG meta, unfortunately. The G8 is going to be S tier. It's an absolute insane gun. The gun has I think 50 odd bullets, fantastic sights on a lot of the characters, has the option for an angled grip, which a lot of LMGs don't have. Thank God they don't. Which is what makes the G8 even more special for me, because you can whack a 2x on it, for example, what I do with the Mario, and use an angled grip, and it feels so snappy, so quick. Little recoil. It has recoil, but very manageable. Just a laser. Any gun with 50 bullets allows you to pre-fire, mega pre-fire, allows you to, you know, get people through the walls, etc, etc. It's just got to be an A tier gun for me. It has everything you want from a gun right now in Siege. Just can't go in A. It just has to be S. Time to fill out some more of the S tier. Sledge's L85 is an S tier gun. You can put the 1.5 on it. The old school ACOG has 30 odd bullets. It doesn't move, has great fire rate. It is an S tier gun, in my opinion. It's what made me love Sledge a lot more than I would love Sledge. Fantastic gun. I think you can put this almost on any operator. It would make them a lot better. I think there's a few of the ARs that are going to be in the list, in the S tier list today, along with F2 and some other ones, maybe, but it definitely holds its own. I probably could fight for this one in A, you guys could, but I think you guys will agree that S tier is quite fair to say right now. Moving on to the Spear. So the Spear, I actually am going to put in A because it's just slightly too slow. I don't know if you guys agree. On Thunderbird, which is his attacker tier list, so I can't really talk about it. It feels incredibly different than it does on Finka. On Finka, it still feels great, but when you have her LMG, why would you take the Spear over the LMG right now? And that's probably the only reason I'm going to put this in A, because if the LMG wasn't anywhere near what it was like, this would probably be S and replace it, but I can't put the Spear and the 6P41, I think it's called, right there, in S tier when this exists. So I might as well put this in S tier since we're speaking about it. This gun is ruining Siege right now. It's making Finka play through the roof, making a win rate through the roof. This gun and the combination of ability right now is massive. Obviously, I didn't want to talk about characters, but it kind of goes without saying right now with that gun. That gun is probably top with the Sophia's gun right now, of Sophia's LMG, I should say, sorry, top of the S tier. A gun like that shouldn't have that many bullets. All the reasons I said with this LMG-E, with Sophia's LMG, I'm going to repeat it again for Finka. I'm not going to repeat it again about Finka's LMG. You guys heard all the reasoning. It's exactly the same reasoning as Sophia's LMG, but if not slightly stronger. And because they nerfed this gun into the ground, the M762 actually is going to go into low B tier right now. It could probably go into C tier. I wouldn't even be mad if you guys put it into C tier. This gun is not too bad, but it's just any long range fight, anything that requires like recoil control from a far distance, you're just gonna lose it. Or unless you're an insane player, you're just gonna lose it. There's no real reason to pick this gun over the LMG right now. I'm hoping they're slightly going to improve it so it comes more into an A tier gun again, with the recoil being changed with the LMGs. Hopefully in the future, I think this will become more playable. But right now in Siege, it's just not the gun to use. Don't use it. I've used it for videos. I've used it for no recoil challenges. It just isn't what it used to be. It's just a waste of time. The M249, I think this is Gridlock's LMG. I think I know it is, and unfortunately I'm quite surprised to say this, but I haven't used it enough. But I'm actually gonna put it in C tier, because when I have used it, I really didn't like it. I think it's a very slow LMG, which how the other LMG should be. I think it's slow, quite decent damage, but decent recoil as well. And I think it just feels clunky, slow. It might be because on the operator it's on, but every time I've used this gun, I've gone, no. The F90 is much better. Wasting my time on this gun. I know LMG meta is at the moment, but there are a few exceptions to the meta. But yeah, this one has to go in C. It could potentially go in B, but I haven't played it enough to put my hand on heart to say it should be higher on this. So I'm going to play it safe and put it in C. The S3000K, I'm sticking this gun right into A. I know you'd be like, wow, but if you guys use this gun, I feel like a lot of people use the MP7 on 0 instead of the SC3000K, because every time I use this, man, with a 1.5, I think I use an angled. It's absolutely insane. I think this might be in the tier list right now the most underrated gun in Siege, apart from one that's still to come. This gun is cracked, boys. I almost would fight it for S tier, but I just think it's slightly, I wouldn't even say too slow, but it might be slightly too slow. When I look at the S tier, I see the F2, the G8, the L8, and I see this gun. I'm not quite sure it quite rivals those three guns and a few of the other guns down below. So I think an A tier, the same with the Type 89, is probably a fair comment to say. Same with the G36C. I think these are all very, very, very good guns that you should be using, but just aren't elite right now. Speaking of guns that used to be elite but aren't elite, the R4C, this gun would be number 1 in the S tier list, but right now, I would have to say, from using it, it is a low A tier gun. I think a lot of people thought I might put it in B tier, but it's not. I've used it recently, and it isn't that bad. It just isn't what it used to be. It does have kick. Long range battles are more difficult. If you guys haven't used it in the last like 3 months, try it again. It isn't as bad as it used to be. If you guys remember about 3, 4, 5 months ago, it was horrendous. It was untouchable. It almost felt like you were wasting your time using it. Now you don't waste your time with it. It just isn't quite as good as the other guns on the list. It probably is high B tier / low A tier. Another gun that's going to go straight into the A tier is C8 from Buck. This gun is a gun I haven't used a lot of myself, so I can't give him a full definition. This gun I haven't used that much in my lifetime. I used to use it when I first played Rainbow Six Siege, loved the gun. Then kind of just started using different operators like Twitch and the F2, got more addicted to those guns. But every time I use a C8, I think to myself, damn, I should start using this gun again. I should start using Buck again. This gun feels incredibly clean. Just a great gun. I think it's just like the Type 89. It has a great magazine size. It's also got the skeleton key, which probably makes it actually, the more I think about it, a higher A. And you guys, let me know what you think. Do you think this could go in S tier? That's what I'll leave it on. Do you guys think it could go in S tier? The more I look at it and the more I think about it, 1.5, nice sights. It's got the skeleton key. It probably has a definition to go into S tier, but let me know what you think. So is Capitao's LMG, and I'm going to put that right next to the Gridlock's LMG. I'm not going to talk about it too much. Don't waste your time on it. I don't like it. It's just basically the same as Gridlock's LMG. Just doesn't do it for me. Too slow. Fire rate. The damage is okay, but just when Capitao's got the Pyro, which is just double as good as this gun is, it's just, again, it just has to go down. It has to go in C. I don't think it's quite a D. I don't think when you use it, it's useless. But it could probably go into D. I'm just playing it safe into C. Now moving on to C7E, which is Jackal's AR. I was thinking about this for a while. I'm actually not quite sure. This is S or A is what I'm thinking. I think I'm going to have to barge my way. I'm looking at the G8 being in there, and I think it has to go into S tier because the G8's an S tier. It's an AR which has the same fire rate as the PDW. I think it has more damage than the PDW. Obviously, PDW has 50 odd bullets, I can't remember, while the C7E has 31 off memory. So it doesn't have the bullets, but it has more damage and the same fire rate as a submachine gun. So, I mean, and it has hardly any recoil. I actually run the angled grip on it as well. I run the 2x and an angled grip, and sometimes just a 1x, depending on what res I'm using. So I think I have to put it in S because it's a fantastic all-rounded gun. It has the same fire rate as an SMG in the game. So I think that says it all. The AK-74 reminds me of COD 4, if anyone knows what I'm talking about. I think it has like an orange magazine. This one's difficult because I think a lot of people put this in A, but I don't like it that much, so I'm going to put it in B because it's my tier list. Not low B, obviously I would put it higher on the B list. I think it packs a punch, it has great magazine size, it's just that slow fire rate, and for me the ARX is better than the AK. In a lot of circumstances anyway. This could probably be an A because of how much damage it does per magazine size, but the fire rate just puts me off a bit. And again, guys, if I have to be honest, I haven't used it that much. It's probably going to need to use more. Just not fancying it really. And also when I look at the rest of the tier list, I think a lot of guns in B are guns I haven't played that much of, or have played a lot of and don't rate at the moment, so kind of a fair placement for it to go. Moving on to Lines V308, fantastic gun. It's just an A gun. I don't think I can put it in S tier. It has great magazine size. It does sometimes feel like a PE shooter because I think the damage is quite low, or on the low end I think it might be 4 body shots to kill, which is fair enough. I don't think it should be more, but I think it has fantastic sights. It also has angle grip, I think, which makes it very pleasable and snappy to use, but it just doesn't do that much damage compared to the other guns, and I think it's very fair in A. I think you guys will agree with me on this one. Because now we're moving on to some S tier guns. The M4 from Maverick is S tier. It might be just because of how it feels and how clean it feels on Maverick. This gun is amazing to feel. It sounds amazing. It has the 1x. I think it has some other sights. It has an angle grip again. It just makes the gun feel very snappy. Over 30 bullets. Quick reload time. Yeah, it just has everything a gun would need from an AR. From me, yeah, genuinely the only thing it could probably be buffed on is quicker fire rate, but you wouldn't even want that. So fantastic gun. I genuinely fight for them to be S tier every single day of the week. Then we've got another S tier gun, the AK-12. This gun had a few nerfs in the last couple of months. I just did a no recoil video on the AK-12, and honestly, when you use a vertical grip, this recoil is almost non-existent. It has some recoil, but this gun is, I think it's the most highest fire rate damage AR in the game. That might have to correct me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's true. This gun packs a punch. It has great fire rate, has a little recoil, it has over 30 bullets again. It's just a prime example of a perfect AR in Rainbow Six Siege. I think you guys will criminally slate me in the comments if I put Glaz's gun, I think it's OTS, I think it's called there, in D tier, and I'm actually not going to put it in D tier, I'm just going to put it on C tier. I actually think this gun is quite fun to use, and when you use it in the right circumstances, it actually feels very rewarding, and it has that amazing sight on it. Obviously, if you use it from long distance, where you can highlight enemies, I just think that alone just means it's not quite as useless as the other ones. Obviously, it's a single fire, sniper rifle kind of gun, so I just can't put it that high on the list, but I'm going to put it in C tier. I think that's fair. It also has that switch sights mode, which means it's like better than Cali's gun, etc, etc. I just think its C tiers are fair enough. Plus I got black eyes for it, so it slightly goes up the list. For me is actually the same as Lion's gun. I actually used Power more recently, and I actually really do enjoy the gun. It's slightly too slow in terms of fire rate, but it packs a punch still, has great magazine size. The reload's quite long, I think, but it has nice sights. I'm not sure if this has an angled, it might do. It's basically the same as Lion. There's a few guns in this list that are basically the same as their partners or like other characters in the game, just because they kind of all have the same perks, but they're just not quite the same as like the F2 or the C7E or the M4, as I said before. So I think A is just a fair place to put them. This one might surprise you. I'm actually going to put the Commando into B, just because I used to use the Commando all the time and I love it. Now I've used it less, and I just think in the current meta, how things go, it could go into A, definitely could go into A, but I feel like I got a lot of decent guns into A, and I think the Commando's slightly falling behind a little bit. Just with all the new guns that have been added and LMGs being stronger, I think the Commando has just been left in the dirt a little bit. I still don't see why you pick the Commando over the G8. The Commando just has good sights and has okay damage, has a decent mag size, but other than that, it's just a normal AR, standard AR, a bit like the F90, brings okay things, a bit like the AR-33 and the other guns on the list. Just brings okay damage and fire rate and all that, but just isn't excellent, isn't fantastic. I'll definitely do a defender version of this list if you guys like this kind of stuff. And the MP7 is probably really high on defense, but on attack it just isn't. I don't know why. I am putting this in B, and I actually was thinking about, I was like, oh, I'm going to put it in A, and I'm going to try to justify why in A, but the more I thought about it, the more I just couldn't reason it. I just couldn't understand why the MP7 would be. It's a submachine gun and it's not an A. I'm like, what am I doing? But it has the 1.5 on 0. It's okay, but I just don't feel it's as good as the SC3000K. I don't know if it's because of the damage, or I don't know, guys. I'm really kind of stumped on this one. That's not even a word. That's how much I don't know what I'm talking about right now. Let me know what you guys think about the MP7. I'm going to stick it in high B for now because I'm not quite sure. It could go into A and what my reasoning would be, so I just think it's an okay gun. But on 0, I would use the other gun other than MP7, but on Bandit it feels amazing. So I just don't really know, guys. Let me know. I think it might be the rate of fire what does it for me on attack, but I think that might be just me reaching now. Now the PDW that's on Jackal and now on Osa is a A tier gun. It has the 1.5 on both, I think. Maybe not on Jackal. I'm not quite sure about that because I don't use that often. I think it does. 1.5 on the PDW. Even the red dot feels hella clean. Fantastic fire rate, fantastic magazine. The only bummer about it is the damage, which is why the C7E is higher on the list. It actually does feel like a lot of times, especially when you shoot them through walls, because it does less damage through walls, it especially feels like it's a pea shooter then. So it just couldn't go into S tier. It's definitely a normal A tier. Well, A tier is good, but up there on A tier. Just can't fight for it on S, boys. It's just the damage per, I think it's 4 shot to the chest, and through a wall it becomes 5 or 6. It just can't do it, especially if they've got rook armor, etc, etc. It just takes more bullets to kill, which is not what you want in Siege, so it just can't be an S tier. And the ARX as well, unfortunately, can't be S tier. As much as I love the gun, the more I thought about it, the more it just can't be an S tier. It's exactly the same reason some of the other guns I didn't put in the list. It just hasn't got the magazine size. If this gun had 30 bullets, it would be an S tier ASAP Rocky style. It just doesn't. I think it has 21 bullets, and there are times you do die on the ARX because you spray one down, maybe start spraying another guy down. There's a third comment, you have to swap guns. If you didn't have to swap guns, it would definitely be an S tier. It's just the bullets. The bullet mag size, sorry. It just has fantastic damage. It has great sights. It feels clean. Quick gun. Just fantastic gun. It just can't go into S tier just because of the magazine size. I know it's a bummer, but that's my true opinion. So guys, I looked at it back and I'm happy with all my placements. Some could obviously be moved around, but it's my personal opinion. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed that tier list. I think gun tier lists aren't done very often, so I'm actually quite happy I did this, and it made me have a good perspective on that the LMGs need nerfing ASAP. So yeah, quite an interesting list, and probably that the DMRs and those kind of guns and the shit at LMGs probably do need a buff as well. But otherwise, Siege, gun-wise, are in a great place. I feel like very balanced, apart from the LMGs. The guns are very balanced across the board. The tier isn't heavy in one area. It's heavy in A, but that's how it should be, in my opinion. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you want a defender one of this. I think I want to do one now, so hopefully you guys want to see one. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fantastic weekend, and much love from your boy Rascal100.